7. Barrett outside, the switch. Doncic goes, oh, what a great step! And then he hammers it home! Broke his ankles!
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well as the New York Knicks came out victorious tonight versus the Sacramento Kings. The final score being 131 to 115 on the road, winning 2 games in a row, like back-to-back games, and this was not a pretty game. The New York Knicks really overcame a lot of adversity. I'm sorry if I'm speaking quiet. Like, this game started at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. Like, obviously, I don't live on the West Coast, so this game literally finished at nearly 1 o'clock in the morning, and I have to wake up for school in like 5 hours. I was considering not making a video, but I was like, I need to grind this video out for you guys. The Knicks won, and I was just going to make it either way. I'm a Knicks fan. I try to catch every game possible. And now my schedule not having work, I'm pretty much catching every game, even the games on the weekend. So just what a wild win. Like, we'll see if the Knicks are able to string together some momentum, but it feels good. The Knicks stringing together a couple wins in a row. Like, we're on a winning streak, which is definitely a good feeling. There's some encouraging things that we could really talk about in this game. There were some negatives. We were down 20 points at one point versus the Sacramento Kings, a team that's competing for the play-in, but they're pretty much just out of that position. They're just not a good basketball team. But then you could also say the Knicks aren't a good basketball team. So you take this win, you're really happy with the Knicks being able to overcome adversity. So the Knicks literally got killed from the very start. Like, Sabonis had like 7 points in like the first minute of this basketball game. He got Mitchell Robinson into foul trouble on the very first possession, or like he really baited Mitchell Robinson into a foul using his good footwork, nice pump fake, Mitchell Robinson foul, and a couple more possessions down the floor, Mitchell Robinson gets into foul trouble. So he has like 2 fouls in 2 minutes. Eventually, Mitchell Robinson leaves the game with an illness. So hopefully Mitchell Robinson has a speedy recovery, or hopefully he is okay. That was just very odd to see that on the Twitter, that Mitchell Robinson left with an illness. I'm like, wow, that's strange. But then you see Sims come in the game. He struggles. He gets into foul trouble, picks up 2 fouls. Harrison Barnes does a good job drawing fouls. Just everything's going right for the Sacramento Kings. They're knocking down their shots from the outside, getting to the free throw line, just setting their teammates up, dribble penetrating. We're shooting awful from beyond the arc. Like, we shot, it was like 3 for 15. It was just very, very atrocious. We weren't able to get to the basket. We couldn't create at all. The offense was very bad. The defense was very bad. But I got to give credit to the Sacramento Kings. They played fantastic defense. You could discredit the Knicks. You could say we didn't play good offensively, which we didn't. But the Kings played scrappy. They had active hands. They had active feet. Like, they just really did a good job reading the passing lanes. It just looked like they were the team that wanted it more. They played with a lot more energy. Of course, they have a De'Aaron Fox over there, but it wasn't just him. Like I mentioned, it was a Harrison Barnes. You had guys of Dante DiVincenzo coming off the bench, knocking down a 3. And when you really take a look at the starting lineup here, you lose a Mitchell Robinson. Jericho Sims is out there. He looked pretty lost. We saw him in the first half. I believe we barely saw him in the second half, or at least he was like non-existent in my mind in the second half. Like, he did a good job rebounding, but his awareness was not good in the paint, and they just absolutely demolished us in the paint. It just was not a pretty sight. Like, there was no communication on the defense side of the basketball. But getting into the starters, like Alec Burke's terrible. Like, he hit a big-time shot in this game, but especially in that first half, Alec Burks did not play good. He did a terrible job reading the floor. Yes, he was known as this combo guard coming out of Colorado, but he just isn't this point guard at the next level. He isn't. He's a guy that comes off the bench. He's a 2 guard. He provides a big-time spark. He's a good scorer of the basketball, but he's also streaky. There's a reason he's been on many teams in his career. Didn't play the best of defense, and he was just chucking up weird push shots around the basket. Didn't like the way Alec Burks played at all at the beginning of this game. You have RJ Barrett. He got to the free throw line this one time, but at the very beginning, like, eventually he ended up having a good game, but at the beginning, he was forcing some weird shots, like when he was stopping on a dime, throwing up some weird, awkward hook shot. Like, do you guys know what I'm talking about when he puts up that weird little hook push shot? Like, I don't even know what to describe it. RJ Barrett has a very odd bag that is working, but it's just like, what is that shot? I hate when he puts up that contested floater and there's so much time on the shot clock. Like, it's just unnecessary. So I really thought RJ Barrett didn't really let the game come to him. I didn't really like the way RJ Barrett played, in my opinion, at the very beginning. But Mitchell Robinson, obviously, he leaves with an illness. He's in foul trouble. And then you take a look at Julius Randle. Julius Randle, I actually thought was aggressive. He was drawing fouls, second chance opportunities. It really looked like he was energized. So he was the only one that was really doing anything. Yes, his shot wasn't falling from the outside, but I really did respect the commitment to the offense on the basketball and the defense on the basketball throughout this game. Julius Randle was really amazing. We're going to be getting into the glaring positive, but yeah, the New York Knicks just did not play good basketball in that first quarter. Atrocious, terrible. I don't even know what else to say. Like, that first quarter was just really, really bad basketball, but Randall was hustling and all that. So we're down 20 points at one point in this basketball game. Second quarter comes around. I actually thought we played better on offense. I thought we started to move the ball more. We looked to be more aggressive. RJ Barrett has a huge, huge second quarter. I believe at halftime he ended up having 15, 16 points, or maybe he had like 17, but he really did a good job scoring the ball in the second quarter, and I thought he did a good job keeping his head up, letting the game come to him, being decisive. He did a good job rebounding. I thought he got better on the defense side of the basketball. So that's the thing with RJ. He just does a good job making adjustments throughout the game. Like, he realizes what he's doing wrong, but he spotted up for a three, and he was a huge reason. Like, we were kind of coming back. I'm like, ooh, maybe the Knicks got something really cooking here. But then you see a Dante DiVincenzo come off the bench, knock down a three. Then you see a Josh Jackson, who I still believe has talent. He was taken with the 4th overall pick for a reason, had some maturity issues, but he's athletic. He did a good job dribble penetrating, getting to the rack. And I'm like, damn it. Like, we have no answer for this Kings offense, and our defense is just so bad. Like, Fournier just couldn't hit the side of the barn. That was like a starter I didn't really mention because I completely forgot about him when it came to the beginning of this game. Like, he was missing wide open threes. We know his commitment on the defense of the basketball isn't there, but Fournier started to score. RJ started to score. So then you got the help for Julius Randle. Like, RJ started to help out Julius Randle. Like, you had Emmanuel quickly come off the bench. I thought he did a good job providing a spark for us, scoring the basketball. I really got to give credit to Emmanuel quickly. He did a good job actually, like, changing the speed of the game, or just like doing a good job with his hesitations, getting to the rack. And then, but like, we saw young guys, like we saw McBride, we saw Reddish. He had the scary head injury. It looks like it's a concussion. He got undercut when he went to go block a shot. It wasn't a dirty play. He just happened, or one of the players just happened to be in the wrong spot, like the wrong spot at a certain time. So hopefully Cam Reddish is okay and he has a speedy recovery. I'm going to guess he's going to be in concussion protocol because it just did not look good the way he hit his head. But not like McBride was playing meaningless minutes. Like, he was good. He was out there for a majority of time, and I actually thought he played solid defense. He didn't score, I believe, in the game at all. He actually missed a couple free throws, but you could tell he's that scrappy player. He made some big-time plays down the stretch on the defense side of the basketball. And yeah, we're going to be getting into all that, but yeah, RJ's cooking. It looks like we're starting to score, but we just couldn't get stops defensively at all. We still committed stupid fouls. We just allowed them to we just made them feel too comfortable, which I did not like. We ended up being down 20. De'Aaron Fox did a good job dribble penetrating. We know what De'Aaron Fox is capable of. Like, you could say he's the fastest point guard in the league. He's up there with a John Morant. And De'Aaron Fox has been playing some very good basketball lately. Like, we're still down double digits. Again, you thought, like, the Knicks were kind of teasing, oh, we're coming back. Oh, no, we just have terrible defense. We're very undisciplined. Third quarter comes around. Julius Randle brings his frickin' A game. He had 15 points in that third quarter. He was unconscious. Like, his three-point shots weren't falling, but in the second half, his three-point shots were falling. He was pulling up from mid-range territory. He was attacking. He was getting to the free throw line. He did a great job rebounding the ball. Obviously, we don't know if this is going to continue. Maybe it's not. But tonight, Julius Randle was huge. He was the huge reason we came back in this game. It wasn't just Julius Randle playing well. It was also we made good adjustments on a Domantas Sabonis. He had a very strong first quarter, played solid in the second quarter, but then we made good adjustments on him. We brought in a Taj Gibson. He was physical with him. We started double-teaming him. We started bottling him up. We made key deflections out there on the floor. And also, the Kings' defense just wasn't as good. It just looked like the Kings were a lot more relaxed, and it looked like they were satisfied. And the Knicks just brought a different energy and just vibe to the game in the third quarter, like in that second half. So whatever Tom Thibodeau said to the Knicks, good job, because they clearly got the message in that third quarter. But yeah, quickly was turning up. You had Evan Fournier knocking down big time shots from the outside. Like, there were still moments though that like we eventually cut it to like an 8 point game, then it would go up to a 10 point game, then it would be a 7 point game, and then up to 11 or back to a 10 because there were still moments we couldn't get stops. But then eventually the Kings just fell apart mentally. I really felt like it was a mental game with the Sacramento Kings because of how hard we were playing on the defense of the basketball. And it felt like De'Aaron Fox was just literally carrying them in the third quarter. And I felt like they needed more production from other guys because De'Aaron Fox had a huge third quarter, but they were also missing free throws. I just felt like they weren't there mentally. That's just my opinion, though. As we went on to outscore them in the third quarter, 44-24, and eventually we took over with the lead entering the fourth quarter. And the fourth quarter was just so much fun to watch. Randle, Fuego, this dude cannot miss. He was on fire. You literally had to give this man water. He ended up finishing with 45 points, I believe, which is a brand new career high, or at least ties his career high, because I thought his career high was 44 versus Atlanta. Going through it in my head right now, it might be 45. But Randle was just unbelievable. You couldn't touch him. He was hitting ridiculous step back threes. I don't know what else to say about him. Randle was freaking fantastic tonight. He stepped up in a big time moment. He didn't fold in the fourth quarter. RJ Barrett was fantastic. He had 27 points. He had a good all around game. He rebounded the ball well. He distributed the ball well. Just a lot of players played well. Like, Fournier didn't play fantastic, but I thought he hit some big time shots. Quickly finished with 27 points. He managed to use that floater. He just was kind of more versatile on the offense side of the basketball than we would usually see from it quickly. I thought he made better, he made certain reads that we didn't see him make last year. I still don't think he's our point guard moving forward, but I thought he showed great progression and he came off of a good game last night as well. So quickly, I've really got to give him his flowers. He played a good basketball game. But also McBride, he had a big time deflection that led to some big time momentum. Like, he had a couple huge defensive possessions. Again, he didn't score the ball, but I thought he really made his presence felt on the defense side of the basketball. But the Kings literally were just non-existent. The Knicks took over the basketball game. It's crazy to think we were down 20 and we ended up winning the game by 23 points. That's just how on fire Julius Randle was. That's just how excellent this team was in the second half. They didn't stop fighting at all. They played well. Knicks came out victorious. Let me know down below your thoughts, and peace out, y'all.